you know what? We haven't talked SPACs in a few days, and we haven't.
What's going on?
We haven't in part because there's not a lot new, so to speak, except for this continued sell-off, which is worthy of at least spending a bit of time on. I called it weeks and weeks ago a SPAC out, which I was happy you
People
adopted.
love that.
From Mad.
Everybody but Jag Deep loved that one.
Well, the lights haven't been turned back on. No, in fact, it gets worse. I said earlier at the very top of the show, you know, the liquidity providers aren't there. One question, of course, is have you had the cohort we've talked so often about, namely retail investors and the likes of people who are focused on Wall Street bets to a certain extent may have provided some of that liquidity for SPACs? Have they gone away? Is that contributing to it? But we also know, as we can take a look at any number of them that are trading below $10, which, by the way, is, you know, a free call.
Yes.
In many ways, remember, because you can just say, no, I want my money back. And so there is some interest there. You can split warrants. There are a lot of different things that more sophisticated investors can do here when they trade below 10. But the SEC's continued focus on it is also a concern, both from the projections side of things and whether they're going to crack down on their ability to offer these not outlandish, but certainly far-reaching projections that they don't have to be beholden to in any way. And pipe investors, Jim, you know, there is a certain allocation from many of the big firms. You see Fidelity is involved, BlackRock, they're all in these pipes. But it's a certain percentage of assets that they like to keep it to. And right now, with the SEC focused on pipes and how long you may have to hold, and the warrants, and how long you may have to hold your investment, it's making it very difficult for these companies to allocate new funds for pipes because they don't know how long they're going to have to hold on to their existing ones, and they want to keep their allocation level overall at a certain percentage of assets.
So you're talking about, let's say, Starwood, Barry Sternlicht, if he does like 5, 6, 7 deals, you're saying that that's the guy that they're. He's very good.
Well, he's very good. No, my point is that overall, they're like, we allocate whatever percent of this portfolio to pipes. Okay. But right now, we don't know when the turnover is going to be. Wow. When are we really going to be able to sell? And so we're not going to necessarily commit to new pipes until we know. Hammer. And so, I mean, it comes back to Gensler at the SEC, which we're going to continue to stay focused on.
But I made a joke about Jag Deep, and you introduced me to him. Jag Deep.
I didn't introduce you to him. He did the first interview here, and we focused on the company at that point. And then Carl, you took him, as you always do, and have now made him your guest. But, Carl, he came on the show last Friday, came on Mad. The stock's now down 64%. There was a short seller basically saying that the thing is a fraud. And I don't think it's a fraud, but the problem was people got more excited about his data than even he was. And, Carl, these SPACs have forecasts. And the forecasts are so fabulous that you almost feel compelled that it's free money until you realize that. And we've gone through that so many times. You can take a look at CCIV, of course, which is Lucid Motors. They haven't yet, obviously, de-SPACed. I haven't seen that stock below 18 in quite some time, 1782.
No. There's a commercial.
Chamath Palihapitiya's Clover Health, which, of course, is de-SPACed. That has been a very poor performer, although he did put his performance out on Twitter, I think it was yesterday, claiming, of course, things have been quite strong. And it's true. If you invested with him at the right time and sold at the right time, you would have done fine. ACIC, Flying Cars, Atlas Crest, that's at 989. I mean, you can go on and on here, Jim.
The Flying Cars, you really are, that was the one.
I like to say Flying Cars. They're not, of course.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.